Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming in. How we all doing today? Been having an interesting day, but I'm excited to be here on a show with all of you on The Bunker. Welcome into The Bunker. Now, I'm just finishing up, putting some things together. I was definitely wanting to have a show today, but kept seeming to run into some roadblocks, so bear with me as I get things ready, but I do have a fun show planned. And it's one of those things that took me up to about the last minute to actually finish, but I got it done. Hey, everybody. Thank you. All right. I'm about to do some shout outs here in a minute because it looks like we got some people pouring into the chat. Thank you all for coming today. Happy Thursday to everybody. Hey, Delusional, my buddy. You're here today. That's awesome. All right, guys. Daniel Gonzalez, thank you for coming. Robert, thank you for coming. W. Morford, thank you for coming also. Curtis Hamilton, hey. Mega Cards, thank you for coming. Jake Scott, yeah, ready to get zapped. PO17. Of course, the best CRTs always say, well, that's a pretty good rhetorical question, PO17. Why do you think something about being the best also leads to being the hardest to deal with or having the most problems or whatever? And so I thank you all first off for coming into this wonderful live show. Now I know that there's a portion of the audience that comes in that's new every time. Thank you all for coming in and dropping by and checking out this show. First off, if you do like this show, please hit the like button for me, first off, because that does help the reach of this show. It happens normally every Monday and Thursday, but I do try to bring this show every week, twice a week to you here live, where we'll have some cool new tech thing, or not really new, retro tech thing. And so that's what I've got today. Today I've got an awesome PVM that we're going to look at, a 20L5, and it's actually here in the studio, here in the bunker with us all, so we don't have to worry about going somewhere else to find it, because this is about as big of a CRT as I will carry down into the bunker. I don't like to go much bigger than that. Hey, Clash, and hello, Cozy Cathodes. That's a cool name. I like your little your picture too, because that looks like a CRT projector, which actually I have here in the bunker too. But as you can see, maybe if you're paying attention, there's Cole in the background. Hey, Andre. He is obviously rowdy today, so I don't know whether he looks like he may be going back. Let's see. Yep, he's back. Okay. Look, he found something to chew up. Wonderful. So we'll have the Cole cam going for a minute, because I'm not sure what that rascal's up to today. And he didn't have anything to eat, so I'm not sure what he found to chew up. But it sounds like it's a big piece of plastic. Wonderful, Cole, you rascal. Anyway, thank you again. Thank you for dropping the like. Again, that always helps out the show. I really appreciate it, okay? First off, before we get too deep into the main topic, we do like to do a little bit of a, I guess, free sponsorship. And for the next few weeks, we're pretty much going to have the same free sponsorship, okay? And what I mean by free sponsorship is I do have a deal with this particular show promoter. I didn't agree to add anything, but I'm just doing this as a favor because I want more of you to show up to this convention if you're going to be in Nashville. I went through this last time, so I will be at the Music City Multicon. Here is, again, the website for that, musiccitymulticon.com. It's going to be October 27th to 29th, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Here's a ton of information. You can see me, most importantly, but you can also come say hello to Danny Trejo, all these awesome 80s wrestlers. We got like, we might have a big monster match here somewhere in the Farm Bureau Expo Center, because we got the $1 Million Man, Jimmy Hart, IRS, Ron Simmons, damn, and Scott Steiner. Lots of other people here too from other things. Of course, friend Tim Kitzrow and the brothers from Mortal Kombat will be there. Our friends over at My Life in Gaming will be there. I will be there. I will be making new friends. So please come and hit me up if you're going to be at the show. But one of the things I wanted to show you all today was something that I will have at the show. And let me get back to my facial view, right? My beautiful facial view right here. Let me move this because it's kind of in the way. All right. So let me check things out. How are things going so far? Everything sound okay, I'm imagining? Hey, Romildo, thank you. Thank you for coming in all the way from Brazil. I hope you are well. Down there south of the border. Hey, Juxtapause, Buried Bits. Good to see you in this morning. Now this, my friend, this is a wonderful head-sized CRT, right? Just a beautiful piece of Sony hardware. And you may wonder, why is this on my shoulder? Well, this is going to be at the Music City Multicon. And let me ask you a question. How many of you out there would love to have this beautiful PVM working, not a single problem with it? It's actually, let me tell you a little bit about it first, okay? So this will be a chance to be somebody's out there who comes to this show. And I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's the high resolution version of this PVM line. It's the PVM 8221. I have opened this up, completely cleaned everything, checked everything out, and everything looks great. There's no problems on it. I even tweaked some of the settings, got it looking great. But this has a 450 line tube in it. And this little beauty is a little bit more compact than the larger, later series. It's an older one, I'm not going to lie. This one is from 1986. Comes with composite inputs there. And unfortunately, yes, this is a composite. Sorry, it's a composite only monitor. Now, even though it's a composite only monitor, someone will get to have this lovely for working CRT for only $10. $10. Can you believe that? Someone will pay $10 and get to walk this wonderful, serviced by me PVM. Now look, I didn't recap this thing. I would be like in for a week's worth of work then and go bankrupt. I wish they did too, but it's still a cool little CRT. Even if you're just looking for something, I mean, this would be in and out composite. So if you're like a streamer and you just want to use composite video and have a way in and out to play games while you're, I don't know, streaming retro games, this is going to be perfect. And $10, how does that work? Yep, raffle. That's right, Buried Bits. Hello, Roll Pats, Dwarf, Gilius. Yes, we're going to do a raffle for this beautiful high res. Now look, if you're sorry, I'm probably knocking the crap out of the microphone. If you're wondering, yes, it's a CRT that has the same tube as like the high-end 8-inchers. So I'm literally selling a tube that works, that this tube alone is worth $200 in this set. Because it can go into like an 8045Q. So if you find one of those with a busted tube or a missing color, you can buy that for cheap and swap in this tube, and you'll have to do a yoke swap. But think about that. So anyway, $10 raffle. You get a raffle ticket, and I'm hoping that I can have like 20 entrants. Okay. Just to basically cover my time and the costs I have associated with that thing. I'm hoping to have 20 people want to take that lovely thing home. But that's one of the CRTs, and I'm gonna have. Let me look at the list. I'll have 4 other CRTs at the show that I'm gonna have for sale. Those are all gonna be consumer CRTs. They're all gonna be priced under $300. They've all been serviced, and so that's gonna be a lot of fun. And I say $300, they're all going to be well under $300. Most of them are going to be under $200, not even $200, you know. So it's going to be fun. No shipping. This is going to be just for the show. So if you're going to be able to be at the Music City Multicon, you can come see my amazing once a year live performance. You know, I'd equate the thing about to a techie version of, oh, I don't know, the old Gallagher show or something, you know? I mean, I'm not that funny or anything. Yes, $10 for anybody. This is an opportunity for somebody to just go home with a cool piece of hardware for $10. It's not that big. This big. And hey, maybe that's something eventually I could offer to the rest of the community sometime as a raffle like that. We'll see how this live raffle goes, because I'm really excited about that. And anyway, I hope to see some people there. I hope that if you go there, you'll say, hey, I saw this stream, but that's we'll just have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. First off, let's check back on Cole. Oh, he's passed out. He's passed out. Okay. Tristan's Game Room. You got something, Steve talks, there you go. I don't know, look, if you imported a PVM 1440, you need to check the power supply, because if that's an imported one, it may not be a compatible one with our voltage here. Yes, Cole is great. Hey, Zero Sleep. This con is at Nashville, Tennessee. And it's pretty cheap to go to if you're anywhere near that. It's not actually in Nashville. It's right outside. There are still like discounted rooms available at the nearby hotels, which are not attached to this convention hall. So it's whatever hotel you're staying at, they're all going to be like not that fantastic. Like the best is almost like a Holiday Inn style thing. So they're, anywhere from $70 up to like $160, I think was the highest end room still available. And that is a dog. He's sleeping. he's black, and he's sleeping, and his name is Cole, and it is spelled like a lump of coal. But yeah, he's out. He's a pug, and I'm surprised he's not snoring. He usually is snoring. So that's where it's going to be. Again, I hope to see some friends there. And what we can do now is get ready. We can get ready for our main topic. So that was it. Kind of a good introduction. That actually went way quicker than I thought. So you'll have a chance there, folks. $10 CRT, $10 PVM, working in person. Anyway, thank you all again for showing up today. I'm going to put a timestamp of about 14 minutes right here for this main topic on today's show, which is the impossible PVM, the impossible to service PVM. Belmont, thanks for coming by. So welcome into the show today. It's, again, we're talking about the impossible PVM, the Sony PVM 20L5. And while it is a wonderful CRT, it does have one gigantic problem with it that is kind of interesting, because it was not much of a problem with prior models of the PVM up until the 14L5 specifically, and probably L4 if you see one of those. Now, what is this big problem? All right, cool, Belmont. Don't worry about it. Don't get into a car wreck trying to read the chat. No problem. It's been great. The chat's good. So, let's look at, now I just blew it. I hit the wrong buttons all the time on the show. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Let's get over here and look at the file for the Impossible PVM. And what is again making this one so impossible? I think you could tell from my flyer or my sheet. Am I calling it my flyer? My thumbnail. Just look at the back of this PVM. So not only are they impossibly hard to find, and unless you want to shell out a bunch of money, it's impossibly difficult. It's not impossible, but it's difficult. It looks like it's an impossible task to get in here and service this PVM, right? And what I have in front of you, right, is a list. First off, this is a list of a PVM parts repair kit that came from Mr. Save on Pat. And this was one that the client bought years ago, put in to an envelope or box, never got around to doing the job themselves, and then commissioned me to do it. And I want to show you why this one particularly is, I call the impossible one, because it's definitely a high level one. It's taken me a lot of time and a lot of experience working on these things to really figure out basically the best way to work around here. So we're going to roll through. First off, we're going to roll through some photographs here of this said PVM 20L5. And we're going to walk through the claustrophobic kind of mess that this one is. And with this parts kit, a lot of the issues and half the kit, a lot of these issues come from the main board down here, which in the photograph is down in this section, buried under everything. Pretty dense, exactly, Robert. Good way to describe it. So we're gonna go back here to the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning. I literally just have been working on this the last 2 days, and this is see, the thing about the 2530 is also a terrible mess because we'll talk about that the next time I actually have to work on one of those. So there's the dog in the background sleeping, still sleeping. Let's see what he's doing now. Sorry. Oh, there he is. He's kind of snoring. You might hear him. Okay. So this is how it came to me. It works. The PVM 2530 though does have its own pain in the neck problems, but I feel like people can get around in there. So we're looking at the 20L5. This is the starting condition. This is a picture of the overall geometry to begin with. Looks like we do have a bit of a screen lean, right? It's a little bit leaning, but that can be possibly stuck with how the tube is lined up. We've got a magnetism issue in this corner. Yeah, roll pads. You can see this pretty good as I zoom in. See how we have our red gun bleeding out over here in this corner. And if we look like even closer down into this zone, just down inside our red area, it disappears by about this point. I mean, it shines through a little bit. See how it shines through up here in this edge? Barely you can see it, but it's definitely pronounced. And this may just need a convergence strip in that corner. So we can do that. I have not done that yet or anything, but that's how it looks right now. And again, this is the density and what it kind of looked like. It was actually quite clean. This bar tends to be broken every time, and I took up a photograph of it because it was broken in this section right here. See that? That's the deflection card that is hanging on the side right here. That's the deflection card, and then there's a separate board on the back side, and all it has is 2 big inductors on it, and that's attached to this plate, this plastic plate or arm, and that always breaks. So it wasn't completely broken, but it was broken. There's another picture of that break in that plastic, and what happens is this gets brittle over time. Now, another spot that always breaks is inside here. You can see right at this point, there's a piece of plastic, an arm, It's a little bit difficult to see, but it's attached normally to this ring around the neck of the tube, and it's broken free right there. It's just a brace, but that's always broken also. So when you get in here, I mean, this is such a cluster. You have to either have done this so many times that you know where all this stuff goes, or you should do what I've done here, which I've even done this job a ton, and I still came through, and this is part of the job, documenting it. So here's some more photographs of our deflection board. There's a daughter board that hangs out here. I will point out one thing. This is our neck board, and I want you to see down here. See how this bracket is like hanging? It's just, again, a support. It's broken. I want you to also look at, let's see. That doesn't look too bad. Okay. Just checking out that solder. Here's our input board. I just wanted to take photographs of everything, how it looked to begin with. Now, if we look at, this is an interesting thing I've not talked to you about. This is the label inside of your PVM, and it's on the shielding. You notice, whoops, whoop, get out of there. You notice it's right next to the anode cap, right here. It's on that shielding. And this says your PVM model, and then the serial number for it, the manufacturing date. And what you really should be concerned with is this. See how it says 20L5 and then /3? So Sony went and made 4 different revisions of this L5 that I'm aware of. The 4th being the latest, which is around 2004 or 5. This is pretty late in the game since it's 03. It's a number 3. And anyway, the parts in this are going to be the 3rd revision, so they vary between revisions. You'll get in here and they'll have different build outs, and some things aren't compatible, so you need to make sure that you're not swapping parts from a 3 into a 2 without knowing if the part is going to work. It's a little bit trickier about this. That makes it another harder, impossible thing to service. Now, if we look down at this photograph, it's really just a picture of the inside of the tube. I get questions a lot about purity magnets. That's a purity magnet. That's a factory installed purity magnet right there. And with that fact, what that does is it just balances the purity on the back of your tube, or the front of your tube picture wise, but it's on the back there. So this is also a cluster. This is, look at this. This is the board that is on the other side, opposite of that deflection board. It's got the card slot, which you're looking down upon, and then it's just got miles of cables going everywhere. Here's the power button right here, and this is a weak point on this. See how it's plastic, and then it extends out this way. That breaks sometimes. That's why you shouldn't really ship this monitor ever, unless you're shipping it like freight or air or something. But even in air, I've seen it break. So let's check in with our boy Cole. How's everybody doing out there? I hope everybody's staying with it. It's been again a fun little roll here through this monitor. If you're just joining me now, we're looking at the inside of a Sony PVM 20L5. We're reviewing just how it looks, going through some of the complexity of this monitor, just in case you ever wanted to know what it looked like on the inside. And yeah, if it breaks, let's say this arm broke, what you have to do is you come in here, you disconnect this switch, and you pull this whole J-board out. It's secured by just a Phillips head screw on each side of the switch right here. And then you can pull that out and pull the board out, or pull the board out, and you can get to the arm also from the front side. If you need to get that out, you can remove the bezel. So, yeah. but this is kind of the way this is built. So something like that happens, it's not a big deal. The problem really is when you have to get in there and get in behind these other boards and get to the main board. So I take a picture down here to show you this is how the board, it's kind of an awkward board, but it's secured by these two screws down here on the bottom level of the PVM at the shell level. You have to remove those screws. That's how that bay looks. And that's where you insert a card like the ones we've talked about before. Hey, Race, how's it going? And QuickBox, KWK Box. Well, I don't know. You should probably check inside, make sure it's not just a dirty mess. And if it is, blow it out with some condensed air if it's working. Delivering pizza as always. Hey, Jesse Glenn. Awesome. All right, guys, do me a favor. I'm going to give you my little spiel here. Please, if you haven't already, do click the like button for me. Man, everything was so awesome. The last show, you guys really blew it out of the park. I mean, I had over 2,500 views at the end of like 2 days and then 250 plus likes. I can't believe it. So thank you so much for always clicking the like button. And if you're here and haven't done so already and are able to do so, please do that for me. And every time you do that, it does equate to 10 new views on average for the show, and that's really helpful. It's more than anything I can do, really. The only thing I figured out that I can do is ask for that on a reoccurring basis. So sorry about always doing that. What we're doing here is this is how you get started. This is like the starting point. I know, right? Well, Robert, I don't know why they did this. I'm sure that it's something where they're like, oh, well, it's like a revision where they do an improvement on the product. And then another improvement, a little bit of changing something. Yeah, the Zap, Brandon, you're probably right. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, the last show did have a couple of anode cap zaps or anode zaps from the CRT tube, so that's definitely a first and probably helped that show grow to the way it did. So thank you anybody who comes in here always, though. So the first thing I've done is just remove this neck board, and I want you to notice, see those arms, those braces I was telling you about, how they've both broken free right there? Now, I just pulled that off, slowly pulling back and setting it aside for the time being. Then I'll remove that, but I wanted to also photograph this cluster of cables right there. And then I remove the neck board, okay? And I hope I have a better photograph of this. But everything is pretty self-explanatory on how to disconnect, except for this portion right here, which I hope I have a better picture of. Otherwise, I may not. There we go. Like all these are easy to disconnect. They're pretty standard. But you have to disconnect this part, which there's a tab on each side. You can see it really good right here, which is too low on there we go. See how that has that hook tab right there? Right next to my cursor right there. That's how that snaps into place. So you have to push, there's one on each side, and you push them together and you pull up, and that'll pop out. And that's how you get started, is you get that out of the way. And then you have to start going in here and strategically moving. You have to strategically start moving these cables after that point. First one is this on the deflection card. It stretches all the way from this board over. Yeah, my wife may come home, so let me warn her. If she does come home, then I'm doing a show here. All right, so you look in here, once you get that neck board off, then you got to start disconnecting some cables. That's just being documented. Because every time I remove something, I don't want to forget what I removed. But then you go in and you remove those screws I told you about down here. You just remove those. This slides back. It's got two portions on the frame that it connects to. There's no screws or anything. You pull them back and up, and then you just move this out of the way. And then you can get to that main board. But that's really what's difficult here, is getting into the back and getting that main board out, which I kept. You can see I kept the input board with it and everything. But these cables, they stretch in there. You have to remove all those cabling. And this tube was a bit dirty. You can see right there. There's some good nastism right there. Cole is snoring away. So he's happy. He's happy, Cole. Happy Sonori Cole. Look at him. So there's that. The anode cap. See, I moved that over to the side because you're not really doing anything with this bundle. This isn't part of the servicing kit. Now, I don't want to remove all the cabling. This is the most plugged in thing on this board. So I set it out of the side and I brace it. See how I braced it with the input board there? And that way I don't have to remove all the cabling. And then there's the main board. But you see there's all these connection points. All these are populated when you're removing it. So you have not this one isn't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's two more, 11. There's one facing a different direction. You can't see 12. And then there's like 3 or 4 more back here. There's like 16 connection points. Ah, man. Delusional. Seriously, we only got 13 likes? I don't know, though. The like button thing has been kind of crazy if it's on the phone. So if you're watching on the phone, I know it's not as exciting, folks, as me zapping myself, right? You're looking at... Now, this is... The rest of this is going to be the pictures of me servicing this, okay? These are the capacitors I removed from the kit. This is each spot. This is a targeted kit. So first I remove those capacitors. Look at that. How'd you like to remove that tiny thing from... This one's always fun to get in and out of there. 48 likes. That's better. Thank you, Curtis. I figured 55. Oh, you guys are awesome. Never mind. All right, cool. I was like, there's no way it's only like 15. But sometimes you get on there and YouTube will show it to you. Funny, I've noticed recently on the app. Oh, Cole, snoring away. So if you get in here now, this is the one of the hotter zones. One of these caps was not part of Pat's kit. Actually, 2 of them weren't, but I decided to change them too because they were looking pretty rough. This one, C624 and C619. All right. So... what the crazy thing is though to think about, not now, because now most of these components in our modern times still have like a good 10 plus years of life left on them. But imagine the point when we're like 10 or 15 years from now when we're having to reservice a lot of these and pretty much replace all the caps. Oh, wow, that's going to be a nightmare. So these are the caps that were removed from this board. Just think about it. You got to do all that work to get it out and to replace these caps. Now they are the most pain in the neck caps to get to. I showed you the spots where they were located. One is located down in that crevice right there. You saw that. So I take a picture of every single capacitor that I replaced. This was the same section where I replaced those 4. Because we only replaced 10 of them. Slip that little beggar down in there. Woo! It's a tight little fit, you know? Tight like that virgin on prom night. Sorry, that was a little dirty. Here's the big cap. stuck in there. I went for an upgraded part there, according to Pat. So we have a thick wide boy jammed in that spot. This was one that was replaced 1603. And the client will get this whole readout. We'll get all these pictures so they know exactly what I've done, right? I wish you could go into like an auto repair shop and they would give you stuff like this where they did service to your vehicle. And they give you like pictures like this. That'd be so cool. Yeah, here's a couple more that were replaced around this connector. Very tight squeeze. A lot of these are in the tightest spots. And they're not even the big ones that you can just get to. They're all the tight ones. But we make it look like it's new. That's my goal, is to make it look fresh and clean and leave nothing behind. This is... Now we're looking at the neck board, and this is a resistor that's part of the kit. So if you have a problem with your PVM and you have an L5 and it's having like power issues, always check this resistor, R705, on your neck board. It's a fail thing. It's like, it acts like a fuse, and it'll blow out in a protection method to prevent other damaging things from happening to the monitor. So it can blow out if the monitor goes into a fail-safe mode or does something wrong or sends voltage. So there's a better look at the inside of that neck board. See how those connectors go in that slot? Everything else just lines up in there. It's pretty easy plug in and slip out. And that's after it's been serviced. Nothing really to do with these capacitors right now. Oh, really? At the dealership. Interesting. Hey, Everett, how you doing? Devin, thank you for coming. There's the bottom side of that board. Where's R705? There it is over there. See, it's not populated yet. So I've just removed it and cleaned it. There they go. There's the new. There's the bad. There it is installed. Shiny. It's better than my phone could pick up. You could see this one though. That looks like you can't really tell except for that it's got a little bit newer polish on it, that it's different than factory. Hey, Negator, welcome in. I hope everybody's doing fabulous Thursday. Think about it. It's so awesome. We're one day away from the weekend. We're looking at this amazing PVM. I'm excited. I get to go to another home football game, college football game this weekend, and it always excites me. Maybe this time I can prevent myself from cheering too loudly and pissing off my whole family and the section. Oh man, I can be a real agitator. So this is a bigger part than the position that you have to put it in. So you can either crimp it the way it's done there. It's fine to bend it in a fashion like that and install it, as long as it's not shorting out against anything or in risk of that, which that is not. That's the serviced board. It's been cleaned up. And oh, congratulations, Shadow Mask. It's always awesome to get paid. And hey, Demo Kirby, what's up? Here's our big one, the D board. Now, the good thing about the D board is it's really easy to get to. If you have a deflection problem and you just want to service the D board, you can pretty much get that out without taking the whole monitor apart on there. You can get to it by just opening it up, disconnecting the cables. There's a couple screws holding it into place, and you pull it out. And you can service it and then put it back in. Now, what I will tell you is a pain in the neck are the daughter board. The daughter board, sometimes it gets like so hardened over the years that I can't half the time get it out of its spot on the main board, because you have to actually remove capacitors on this one. And if you look down here, there's these clips, and there's three parts where this is connected, 3 different connections, similar to what you see right here where it says this, this, and this. And I believe that's probably coinciding with each one of those, more than likely. So to get that out, you have to pull these clasps back, because there's a hook on them that hooks into the card. Pull it back, pull it back, pull it back, 3 of them simultaneously, and try to pull that card out. Well, sometimes it's just stuck in there from the whatever the heck they've put in there Sony Flux, whatever it was when they were building these things. So most of the time I just have to work with it in the holder, which is incredibly difficult. You have to be extremely gentle to be able to get those capacitors out on this board. There's 4 of them on the daughter card that need to be removed right there. But you have to be a really skilled person to get those out while it's still stuck in there. And I'm not trying to brag. I just had to do it. And that meant I used, I didn't just use my FR301. I've been using solder wick. Okay. What's up, Kazval? Oh, screen tilt's causing, yeah, Lil Saf, thank you for coming. But these pictures are showing after I've installed the new capacitors there on that daughter card, the D1 card. And that's the backside. Look at that. So you have to get in behind all these parts without burning everything and damaging anything and get those caps out. 1537, 1531, 1536, and 1509 right there. And I did clean that better. It's just got a bad picture right there. Sometimes those pictures get funny. Yeah. See? Well, there you go. That looks better. It's hard to focus. To focus the light. So the daughter card's been done. It doesn't get every cap removed. Now, 90% of the caps on this board get removed, and then I go through and check these. But if you notice, these capacitors that are staying are huge, first off. They're high voltage, but they're very low capacitance, like low 22 and 33 microfarads. They're generally on low on the ESR meter. Hey, Stuffer, welcome in. Did you get that? I actually, oh my gosh, Everett was talking about, he had approached me about fixing the pins that had pulled out of a tube. We were talking with Dell, who's a moderator, Delusionals Arcade. Him and another guy, Mike, from another YouTuber, work on arcade monitors, and he was able to fix a pin and get it to reattach to a tube. So we need to figure that out, because Bob had the same problem when he was on the stream with me on one of the bunkers a few weeks ago. Any of these chips? I doubt it. I bet these chips are not available. You know, Jesse, if everybody dressed their kids up like a D series, people would like, why did you dress your son up like a microwave? Oh, no one would think it was a CRT except for like a super nerd, which would be cool. Hey, Pasadillo. I'm sorry, I probably get that wrong every time. You're having component input interference using composite? I don't know. I've never really heard of that. I'm concerned with the L2 possibly needing some servicing coming up and probably simply showing up some more issues as time goes on. So we're getting to that age, folks, where that monitor's getting some age on there. Hey, Creepa, thank you for coming in. We're getting some age on that monitor. So those L2s are going to start probably showing some weird issues like the other monitors did. There may be some service bulletin about that too. Well, welcome in if this is your first live stream. Thank you very much for coming. I love it when I hear that there's new people. First live, look at that, KB. Thank you. This is great. So people are always like, how's the stream going? How's the new show going? People in the inside, there are other YouTubers that are in the retro community. They're like, how's this live stream show going? And I was telling them, I was like, it's going pretty darn good. I mean, I'm enjoying it. Lil Saf, thank you. Yeah, probably. Buried bits. Really? Yeah, maybe. Most of these chips, though, are not available. That's why I keep dead boards and salvaged boards from busted PVMs. Busted PVMs, I keep them so that if there's a chip issue, we'll be there. You know, we'll be safe for a while, but I don't know what's going to happen after, another 20 years. So let's continue on. Where was I? Where was I? Where was I? Let's see. I think we were down here. I don't know why it popped out like that. Maybe that's all the pictures I took. No. Can't remember. I thought we had just looked at maybe this picture. And I moved for the dog. He's still here. Oh, he's moving. There, you can tell he's real. He's not a puppet. He's not some stuffed animal. Cole! See? He's right there. Oh, good boy. Yeah. He's impossible to see. I'm afraid I'm going to trip over him when I'm walking around at night in the house. Ah, yes. Now that is probably your problem, Pesadillo. That can definitely add interference as a power supply. Absolutely. Test them individually with other things. Always test your cables and stuff first, and don't think it's your CRT. What's up? CRT's forever. All right. So the power supply gets, or not the power supply, the deflection card. Here's a close look at, again, tight squeezes on a lot of these capacitors. But I do document all my work for another reason. If somebody comes in and claims I didn't do something right, I want to make sure that I'm safe. Here's another fun spot. I'm getting these caps out without removing the daughter card. But you got to do what you got to do. This is how the board looks after I removed them. Sony does not do a great job of cleaning these, but they did pass an inspection stamp right there. Anyway, I've spent a lot of time cleaning that board. Here's all those caps I removed. I will tell you too, this one is going to be this board. You really do need to use a method of reflowing the solder and turning those tools down to as low of a temperature as you can use them at. Kind of like my soldering iron, I generally keep when I'm working on this at about 650 Fahrenheit. And then on my FR301, I'm using it on the very lowest setting. And it will help if you can flow that fresh solder in there and use your solder tip to wiggle those component legs a little bit, get them broken free from there while it's all molten, and that way you can get those out easier. That's why you see when I do this, there will be some caps that have some excessive solder on them. There's the D board back. Cleaned it up. You can tell it's a lot cleaner. There we go. That's a good picture. Reflowed solder on these major components. Here's the caps. There's one. There's one. There's one. It's hard to find. That's why I like it. I like to make my work like that. Like hard to find that I actually did it. Reflowed these and cleaned these up. They looked pretty nasty. These Q2512 and 2514. I would recommend going in there and reflowing those. There's some more caps replaced right there. Cluster 3 of those. And I will go in sometimes and replace more than I'm supposed to on the list. I mean, I found 3 or 4 extras from going through and doing my QC checks. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to have, but also I provide this to the customer because I want them to feel like they're getting a good value as part of my work, but also they can go take this information, and if they decide to sell this expensive CRT, they'll be able to show that it's been documented. Right. Heat, wiggle, and suck. Oh yeah, that sounds like a dirty like 80s album from like Motley Crue or something. Eat, wiggle, and suck. Oh yeah. Benny Powell gonna make you get hot and wiggle and suck it. All right. Enough of me losing it there for a second. And we have new caps installed. Nothing really incredible to show here. Just It's another thing too. You can come in and you say, "Oh, I want to make sure that I installed everything correctly." There's reinstallation of that card. I did take out that piece of plastic that was broken. Have you seen? I wish I could show it, but I know I couldn't. But have you seen? I don't know why I'm calling him Vince Neil now, like when he does when he does his show, he might as well be saying heat, wiggle, and suck, because you know, Dr. Feel Good, and you're like, what? All right, there's the reinstalled card. There's the finished up. That's the last picture. And so that's it. That's all the photographs I have right now. I don't know. I mean, I've got, you know, I've got the CRT right here. Let's see. There it is. It's been running this whole time. It's kind of like the test run. A couple hours it's been running here. So I'll try to not bump the table because it is on. That's the tripod that's holding the camera that's angled over there. And I'm going to turn that backlight out. I don't think that's helping any. I don't know. Let's see. Good, Everett. Let me know how it goes. Feel free to send me messages while you're doing that. Pictures. Do a tutorial, yeah. You can come on and talk about it too afterwards. So that's ooh, there it goes. Flashy, flashy, flashy. See, sometimes when it strobes, it just doesn't work on the camera. So this is, again, after all that work, it's been working perfectly, thank goodness. It's always stressful, you know, when you do that. But I don't know what else to do about it. I don't know how else to do it except that way. But it's working perfectly. The next thing I need to do is go in and do some finishing touches. Let's take a look at the... I don't think that there should be really any change. And actually, I am using component mode. I don't think that there should be any change on the 240p test suite, how it looks, really. As far as... this was a really good condition one. But as far as things like that screen, it's not been adjusted at all. And it still has the same look. You know, it's not going to be a miracle fix usually. Now it's ready to go in and be adjusted, which I will spend some time doing that, you know, later on today, and it'll be finished up. But let's look at some other things. Overall, it's a good looking monitor. I do have the brightness tuned down just because that's doesn't, you can't turn the brightness all the way up and try to film a CRT. It just doesn't work like that. You all know that. Let's do that. Mode 7, I love. There we go. I'll trip you guys out for a minute doing that. So that's a pretty cool looking thing. I never thought about this. So this is one of the things I'm going to incorporate in the middle of my presentation. Unfortunately, these don't have an hours counter, Devin. So we don't really know. But, you know, there's a lot of ways to trick and deceive an hours counter even. That looks so cool. Anyway, sorry, folks. You're getting very sleepy. You're getting very dizzy. Anyway, that's mode 7. That's the cool CRT. And that's the entire, really servicing for the hardware on that repair kit. Like, that's how it goes. And there's one look at the Cold Cam. And that's really just about everything I had planned. I know it was a quick run through on the show today. So if you have anything else, we can... Oh, yeah. There's, well, a mode... Not a mode 7, is it? Is it called mode 7? Sorry. Let's go back to that. See. Yeah, it is a mode 7 test. It has on there. If you go download the most up-to-date version and it should have the test in there. So this CRT, of course, can do everything, right? Just about that any CRT can. Now, I don't know why you'd really want to do anything beyond 480p on it, because you're going to do widescreen letterbox on a 4x3, but that's up to you. I don't judge people on what they like to do. Hey Mason, hope you've been well too, buddy. Hope you're doing good. Good to see you, man. I missed you at Retro World Expo. We had a good time. Oh, Tao's incredible. I use the SNES version and the Dreamcast versions too. And I think that, I mean, obviously that's just going to be something on the SNES, I believe. The Mode 7. Let me quit tripping me out with that. Let's put something on there that actually shows up good. I'm using component mode on here, just because that's the way the monitor was set up. And my RGB cable's starting to glitch out on me, so that needs to be fixed. Here's some Mode 7 for you. Well, folks, I want to say thank you so much for coming today. Please drop a like for me if you have not already. It's really a treat every time I get to service one of these. I didn't really want to make a video. If you've gone to my channel, you can see that I've got this like marathon up there for about a year or so, maybe 2 years now, of like how many videos I've made on the 20L5, and I don't even know if that's all of them technically. But thank you. Thank you all for showing up today. Thank you all for dropping the likes. Thank you all for everything you do. And yeah, if you do have issues, there's also parts to this kit that if you have a serious issue with the PVM, you can try these repair kits, because it does have a IC, which is an integrated circuit, TDA6120Q. And then, so some of the transistors are available. So there's a transistor on the main board that can pop. And then there's one on the neck board that can pop, an IC. And thankfully, Pat knows how to get a couple of those. And that's why his kit's important, because he can still get those chips. And maybe that's what he's doing, is finding them on AliExpress. I just don't know. Oh, I see. Snuffer stuffer, I see. I can't make it look as good through my $90 streaming camera. You kind of, I mean, I can kind of make it look good. Like, this is about as good as I can make it look on a stream. What do you guys think? I mean, what does that even look good from that picture? Like when you're watching it on your compressed and all, like, look at it right there. See how it like morays screen out? Yeah. All right. Well, folks, Cole's still here, but he needs to get up. He needs to go to bed, or he needs to get out of bed, go for a run or something. Look at him. He doesn't need to sleep all day. He's a youngster. So we'll let his snore be the good farewell for today. Thank you all for stopping by. And if you're just coming in late, you can go back and watch this whole video. We pretty much dedicated this whole thing to an impossibly hard CRT to work through, but it can be done. And I hope that if somebody's coming along one day, they get to watch this before they try to attempt to dive into this thing. Maybe this will be good for research for somebody. Or, as always, it's just a fun, entertaining show. I love doing this show. I thank you again. I will see you all next Monday. And so let's get ready. Let's have a great weekend. Be here Monday at about noonish, and we'll be ready to go. and have an awesome show Monday. So I really appreciate you guys again. If you haven't clicked the like, please just do it for me on the way out. It's really the only thing I ask for in the show is to do that. Thank you all so much. And thank you also to all you guys who show up every time, and also everybody who's a Patreon member. You guys really made this show happen. You've been keeping the lights on here, and it's always great. So I'll see you all Monday. Have a fantastic